Okay, again, I'm going to give you my overall thoughts with everything. We're going to give my thoughts on episodes 4 through 6 of Secret Invasion, and then the series overall. And then we're going to have a nice big spoiler section after that to round things off. And of course, there'll be breakpoints in between. Okay? Okay. So I would have to give episodes 4 through 6 of Secret Invasion a C. Unfortunately, this kind of falls apart at the end. It just... Overall, there's some decent ideas explored. I think there's some nice action set pieces. Unfortunately, it kind of falls into the same trap that Captain America and Falcon and Winter Soldier, Falcon and Winter Soldier fell into, where we're trying to present both sides of the argument, but we don't do a good job of presenting both sides of the argument. We really only present one side, and then we're supposed to make the other side feel sympathetic, and it just doesn't work. And I do understand they're probably leaning towards making the MCU a bit darker, at least for a while, at least until we get Phase 5 with Secret Wars or whatever it's going to be. I'm not entirely sure, obviously, certain things are going to be getting in the way of that, but that's way outside the parameters of maybe discussion in this. But yeah, like, I understand they're trying to make things a little bit darker, but it just ends on such kind of a weird, flunky note that, again, I'm not trying to spoil too much, but it really, I don't think, does a good job of setting the stage up for those events to be taking place. And yeah, also, well, there's some very nice character exploration. It's just not enough to really satisfy things, and like I said, it leads to a finale that's just a little too rushed for its own good. Again, maybe this actually would have been better if this were 7 or 8 episodes and not 6. So yeah, the series overall, like I said, had a very strong beginning. I was definitely intrigued through the first half of this. I was really flying high. I was digging most of it. So yeah, like I said, it kind of just fell apart at the end, so I'm going to give the series overall a B, just kind of averaging things out there. Like, I was giving those first 3 episodes, I think, were each an A, and then, I don't know, first 4 episodes I think were an A, and so the last 3 were a B, so let's just average that out, or a C, and we'll just average and put it in between. So yeah, a B. Like I said, overall, some good ideas, I just don't think they were properly explored. I will say this, though, it was definitely better than the Secret Invasion comic was.
May 26th on Disney XD.
Good and angry?
I'm always angry.
You've seen them on the big screen.
We are Avengers, and the world needs us.
Go, go, go!
Now watch them assemble on your screen.
Joking in the face of certain death is part of my charm.
Catch the special 1-hour preview
Impossible is what we do.
of the brand new animated series.
Avengers Assemble!
Marvel's Avengers Assemble, Sunday, May 26th, only on Disney XD.
Yeah, welcome home.
You've seen them on the big screen. Now see them on your screen. It's time to assemble a brand new animated series.
Avengers Assemble!
Marvel's Avengers Assemble, a brand new animated series, premieres next month only on Disney XD.
Okay, so yes, this is the spoiler section. Skip to this point if you want to avoid, because I am really going to be spoiling the bejeebers out of these things, and there might also be a few cut points in here where I have to either have a coughing fit or bounce through my notes, but it won't. I'll try not to be too intrusive with it. Okay, so again, skip to that point if you want to avoid the spoilers. Okay, so we start with episode 4 of Secret Invasion, which is called Beloved, which gives a backstory to Priscilla, Fury's wife, aka Vara, as she's been tasked with killing Nick Fury. Also, we find out basically that they had met, and it's basically, I think Fury knows that she's a Skrull because there's something about the book she's and like she's a Skrull contact, but he meets her as she's impersonating this English professor, and it's sort of later revealed that she had encountered this woman who was dying of some type of cancer or something, and said, "Look, I'll let you replace me, yeah, I'll let you replace me, but you gotta honor these things. Like, I'm gonna die. I think she hadn't told anyone or something like that. Something happened where this professor was dying. Priscilla was dying, and she said, one, you bury me at sea. Two, you try to keep up the veneer with my family. I think I'm trying to think what the other one was. It was a cardiac patient. That's it. That's where my notes are. She had three: burial at sea. Love people. I think was the other one, and never hurt Nick Fury. So yeah. Or maybe that was the one she put after that. I'm not entirely sure, but yeah, if she falls in love, never hurt the person you love. I think was that idea. But yeah, anyway, like Vara, Priscilla is tasked with killing Fury. However, at the end, she just can't bring herself to do it. She and Nick have this confrontation in the home. They both pull the guns and shoot, but they both purposely shoot away. So yeah, basically she's throwing her life aside for that. The other big thing is, again, we had left Gaia, who was shot by Varric at the end of episode 3. It turns out she had exposed herself to the Super Skrull machine and inputted, I think it was Groot and a couple others' DNA into her, so she has regenerative powers. And then from there, yeah, so that's kind of her thing, and now she's trying to work a little bit in secret to meet with Fury again and beat things through. Fury also goes to confront Rhodey, who is revealed to be a Skrull at this point, but, Fury doesn't quite have the evidence to out it. We see the Rhodey Skrull as he's in the shower, and I don't think it's that big a surprise because, again, the way Rhodey was acting, it's like, okay, like, yeah, it's painfully obvious, even in the trailers, like, yeah, okay, so Rhodey's going to be a Skrull too. But yeah, he confronts Rhodey. Rhodey basically says, back off or something. Let's see, Rhodey's a Skrull. Rhodey says, he's fearing, he has footage of Gravik / Fury killing Maria Hill. So yeah, it's like, if you try to out me, I'll try to out you as Fury. However, he doesn't realize that as they had split a drink, that Fury had laced their booze with a tracking agent, and so Rhodey is accompanying the president on the way to this summit, and they attack the president's convoy. There had been an earlier thing in the beginning where Fury had avoided a strike on several other foreign leaders because the Skrulls are trying to start World War III. But the president's convoy is attacked. Again, Fury comes to the president's aid. However, it turns out Gravik is one of the troops there, and he winds up killing Talos. And so Talos dies, and Fury is just kind of in major trouble now because he's kind of completely on his own. And that leads into episode 5, which is the Harvest, which I have right here. Yeah, or just Harvest. So yeah, Fury kind of winds up getting the president alone to the ER, tries to warn him about Rhodes, but he's just too out of it for anyone to listen. Rhodey eventually comes back as Fury's left and says, no, he's not to worry, it's the Skrulls. The Skrulls are in Russia, they're working with the Russians who attacked us, and he's trying to get a nuclear strike launched, and the president's still not in the hell to initiate that just yet. Fury then goes to talk with Gaia, tell her about what happened with Talos, give him his body so that she can properly bury it. And, he says, I want you to, she said, the reason she was angry with her father because she thought he had lost. That was always losing, and then he was settling for losing. And it's like, he wasn't settling for losing, he was trying to find the best path for his people. The one that doesn't get all of them killed, that doesn't get all, he's trying to find the best. And just because it's not the path that leads to absolute freedom in your own planet, doesn't necessarily mean it was the path of losing. Yeah, and, from there, he goes to Finland because Gaia tips him off that Gravik was looking for something called the Harvest. Back back at the Skrull compound, the Skrulls are starting to lose a little bit of faith in Gravik and actually try to jump him, but of course, because he's a super Skrull now, he's able to basically beat all of them and kill most of them. And eventually, he winds up contacting Fury with basically like, hey, you give me the harvest, and let's just settle this, the way we can. Fury contacts Sonya, and they head to Finland, where Fury explains what the harvest is. Basically, he had used Skrull agents to collect the DNA of the Avengers who had been wounded in battle, so if they spilled their blood on the ground, other people aren't going to find them and try to clone them or anything. He also had DNA of Carol Danvers at some point, too. And, he winds up... So, yeah, basically this is a distilled collection of the DNA of all these heroes. Although I don't know how... okay, I don't know how exactly you got, say, Thor's DNA, or, I don't know what happens if you're mixing the Hulk's DNA in there, too. Wouldn't that be mucking things up a little bit? But, yeah, So basically, Gravik is looking to infuse himself with the DNA of all heroes on Earth. Whether or not he'd actually, and as this, he gets to the harvest, he suits up with the jacket, he puts the eye patch back on, he contacts Gravik for one last meeting. They go to this compound because it's on this irradiant, it's not Chernobyl, but it's another, failed Russian nuclear plant. And that leads us into our final episode, which was called, Home. Fury goes to confront Gravik at this compound. However, at the same time, Sonya calls Rhodey and tips off that Fury is headed to this hospital where the president's at. So Rhodey's again trying to he finally gets the president to initiate the nuclear strike. But, now they got to get the president to safety because they say Fury's going to attack him. And as this is happening, Gravik and Fury are confronting each other. Fury turns over the harvest eventually because Gravik takes his Fury's anti-radiation pills, and it looks like Fury's struggling. Gravik inputs the DNA. It's verified, so he inputs all of the Avengers' DNA into him. He activates the machine though, and again, the machine's like this big sort of ribbed bowl thing, and he turns it on with him and Fury still inside. And it's like, why did he do that? God, that it's like, it's that stupid, especially when Fury fights back and punches him out of the building, because it turns out this wasn't Fury, this was Gaia. Fury is actually with Sonya, actually going after the president, and confronting Rhodey, trying to out him as a Skrull. Rhodey grabs the gun from the president, trying to shoot Fury, but Fury shoots him back, revealing Rhodey's Skrull nature. Gets the president to call off the nuclear strike, as Gaia uses Mantis's powers to put Gravik to sleep and then kill him. She then works to free the captured humans that the Skrulls caught, including Agent Ross, of course Rhodey, some of the prime ministers and everything, and that's where that kind of turns out. Unfortunately, this kind of winds up falling apart because by outing the Skrulls and revealing how long they've been there, it makes the president say, oh, these people are all alien invaders trying to conquer us, so I am authorizing authority to basically ban aliens from visiting Earth. Any alien on Earth will be seen as an enemy combatant. I've ordered basically the roundup and execution of all Skrulls on American soil. So, yeah, again, this is kind of where we're starting to turn towards where they're going to go with Thunderbolts and everything. And how you're probably going to get a Dark Reign, if you remember. I've mentioned that before in the comics. Where that's going to, you're going to see that starting to pan out there. And like I said, it would be an interesting idea, except for the fact that we just kind of got the whole point where, the Skrulls weren't necessarily the bad guys. They were people who were just looking for a home. And then, and it took years and decades to not get that home. It's something Fury even admits, Gaia in Fury's form admits, I knew, that they were never going to find a suitable planet. It's like we were never going to find you a completely uninhabited world where you wouldn't do where something bad wouldn't have happened. So we just kept using you, and like he admits, he eventually just started using the Skrulls as his own personal tool. Yeah. But again, it's like there's not enough of making the other side seem legitimate and also having points. Like, it's like, okay, these few Skrulls attacked, but you forget that one helped you. In fact, Sonya actually winds up enlisting Guy as aide to help with the Skrulls. She said, we're not going to be like Fury and Gravik and Talos. Fury and Talos. We're not going to be friends. We're just going to use each other to each other's advantage. Because now the Skrulls are kind of the ultimate master spy race, if you think about it. Fury is basically told, when he confronts the president, he says, hey, you're not doing, this isn't how you're supposed to be doing things. There's still, you could have done this better. And the president goes, well, if you don't want to be on Earth anymore, get off. So that's kind of what happens. Fury contacts Vara and says, look, I'm leaving again. If you want to come, I'd really like it if you would, because he does still love her. And, she does. They meet at this point, and Fury kind of points out that, he had just learned that the Kree were actually willing to negotiate some type of peace accord to maybe help the Skrulls reestablish themselves on a new world. So there's like a little bit of goodness in there, but yeah, still overall a very dark ending, and no end credit stinger or anything there. But that's pretty much it. Sorry there's not too much in the way of pictures of the 6th episode, but I have to get those things kind of before it airs. So, okay, so yeah, sorry, a bit of a coughing fit again. Yeah, that wraps up Secret Invasion, and yeah, you could see, I think, a little bit of where this turned out, where it tried to be paranoid action thriller for the rest of it, but it's like, okay, we already kind of know what's happening here, and it either isn't going to end well for the Skrulls, or it's not going to end well for humanity, or it's not going to end well for both, basically. And yeah, it just kind of felt very rushed a little bit. Like, if you wanted to draw out the paranoia more, I think you needed more than 6 episodes. This probably would have done better, like I said, this probably would have done better as 7 or 8 episodes. Again, it kind of falls in the same problem as Falcon and Winter Soldier, where you're trying to explain both sides, but you really don't do a good job of explaining both sides. So one side looks absolutely right while the other side looks absolutely wrong. But then the people on the wrong side also look, it's just way too confusing to try to make those types of arguments. Like, again, especially in a 6 episode span, it just leaves things feeling a little too rushed, a little too paced out poorly. Again, probably it's unpopular that Maria Hill is gone, even though she's in the Marvels, which is going to beg a lot of questions for how that's going to turn out. But yeah, so overall, like I said, it had chances to be great. It just never quite really achieved it. Overall, like I said, it's still pretty solid, though. Like, I would put this above Falcon and Winter Soldier, but not the best of the Marvel streaming series by any stretch of the imagination. It's, again, just too clunky of an ending for its own good.
Magneto has arrived, only in X-Men 2 for Sega Genesis. Now 2 can play the most mutant heroes and Magneto. Marvel's X-Men 2 for Sega Genesis. Hardware and game cartridge each sold separately.
Storm, as unpredictable as the weather.
Okay, Storm, do your thing.
Watch the premiere of X-Men Saturday morning, October 31st on Fox. Gambit keeps an ace up his sleeve.
How did you do that?
With style.
Watch the premiere of X-Men Saturday morning, October 31st on Fox.
Okay, so the next video is going to be the recap and review for Haunted Mansion, the Haunted Mansion movie. I'll be seeing that tomorrow, or I'll be seeing it Thursday. The review will probably be up on Friday. After that, it's going to be probably Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles: Mutant Mayhem. Then then the random trade review on Off Girl Genesis, and then SummerSlam, WWE SummerSlam. After that, there might be another video coming out in between Haunted Mansion and Mutant Mayhem. I'm not sure if I'm going to get it done just yet. It might be out after that. It might be out after all of those instead. It's getting to be the time for Madden to be coming out again, so I'll be doing a kind of preview video because I have to kind of go into a little bit of what's going to be going on over the next few months, or at least the next couple of months. The last movie for August is going to be Blue Beetle. That's on the 18th. Don't know. There is one movie I want to do, but I'm not entirely sure. This summer was kind of brutal in some ways. There's way too many movies that came out week after week after week after week. Like, I really wish these were spread out a little bit more. But yeah, I know Ahsoka comes out, I believe, at the end of August. I don't remember when Loki comes out. I think that's more in the fall. And obviously, The Marvels is the next movie from Marvel. But don't know how much else is going to be impacted recently. There's been some talk about things possibly being delayed because of the strike for some reason. So they have, for lack of a term, more quality stuff to release a little bit later, and they're not rushing to put things into production that really shouldn't be made, like what happened the last time there was one of these things. That's a whole other thing for a whole other video that probably someone better than me could utilize. But yeah, I don't know exactly what's going to happen, but there'll still be plenty of content here on the channel. Not to worry. See you all next time. Hey guys, remember you can request a movie or a television series for me to review at my Patreon at patreon.com/CPTime for Cat Productions. Also, remember to like the video, comment, share, subscribe, and ring that notification bell so that you can be alerted to further videos.